Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Writers Plus Academy. This afternoon we'll be going straight into our ability test. And this is an intelligent test just to check how smart you are. So this evening, yesterday, we looked at classification where we group things. Can be animals, can be objects, it can be people. Classification is grouping things, and you can pick the odd one out of that grouping. Today, we're not going to be doing a test this week, but next week sometime, I want us to do a little quiz. This week, we're going to be looking at verbal analogies. Verbal, speaking, writing, analogies. So we're going to be looking at analogies. So as I said again, ability test has to do with your intelligence. It has to test how smart you are and how quick you are on the thinking. Now, all of what we have been doing, these are thinking skills. You have classification as a thinking skill. First thinking skill we did was observation skills. Where we look at detail. The next one, we look at similarities and differences. Then yesterday we look at classification, and today we are going to look at analogies. Analogies comes in all kinds of exam. Either exam if you want to go abroad and study, and you're doing these exam, the SAT program or GMAT program, analogy will come into it. It tests your thinking and all of that. So we're going to be looking at verbal analogies. Let's read together. An analogy compares two pairs of items that share a similar relationship. You're looking for a pattern. A to B as C is to D. Now, you can have the written part of it, A to B as AS, C is to A is to B as C is to D. So you can have it written out, you can have it in the written form, or you can have it using the symbols. If you use it with the symbols, A to B as this as C to D. The first colon means is to. The first colon means is to. The double colon means as. Example, pen, so you can write pen is to write as for double colon. So is right. Pen is to write as, the double colon means as knife is to cut. So you can write it in both forms. You can write it using the worded form, or you can use the symbol form. The worded form or the symbol form. They use both of them in exam. The symbol and the worded form. Now, analogy. We're going to look at how can you find the correct pair, the correct answer. All right. First, you have to look at the first pair to understand. So A, then the next letter is B. C, and then the next letter is D. So the first pattern, you have to make sure you understand the first pattern. And if you understand the first pattern, then you will understand the second pair, the second pattern. Because the first pattern and the second pattern, they have to be the same. They have to be same. So you have to look at the first pattern to understand the relationship. Then so you have to make sure that it is consistent. So if you're talking about birds and eggs, the other one has to be something with eggs as the same kind of pattern. You can't having two different patterns. All right, so let's look at this one. So let's go over this because I'm going to erase it. As you notice, the area that I'm working with is quite small, so I have to erase things. So if you want them, you have to get them quickly. Let's go before I erase. Verbal analogies. An analogy compare two pairs, two over this side, two over this side. An analogy compare two pairs of items that share a similar relationship. So you're looking for pattern. A to B and C to D. And I said you can write it with the colons. The first colon means is to, and the double colon, the single colon, is to, and the double colon mean as. So you can write it in a worded form, is to, as, or you can use the single colon and the double colon. Fine. The double colon mean as. Example, pen, this a single colon is to write as, knife, double colon mean as, knife is to cut. And you can write it in the worded form, pen is to write as knife, pen is to write as knife is to cut. So you can write it in the worded form or you can write using the symbols. And the symbols, you have the single colon and you have the double colon. The single colon mean is to, the double colon mean as. And that is analogy. Right? It's comparing two items that share a similar relationship. So you're looking for patterns when you're doing analogy. All right, so let me clean this area. All right. So we're going to look at a simple one. Look at this one. Most time, they will leave out one. One of the pair will have a missing item, So, sun is to day as moon is to night. So you look at it, that's an opposite. Sun is to day, or you could have it, the opposite of day is night. Sun is today as moon is to night. So again, you can have it in worded form or you can have it using the symbol. They are the same thing. You can have it in worded form or you can use it in symbols. Now, most time we get analogy, we cannot figure them out. But there's a way that if we learn this method, then you'll be able to figure them out and fill in the blank. Because most time they give you a blank space that you will have to fill in. So we're going to look at the different types. Now analogies, you have different types of analogies. And if you can identify quickly what type of analogy you're dealing with, then you'll be able to figure it out. And so I'm inviting you at this time to write your example. Use your book, open your book, learn something. Analogy, types of analogies. We're going to be looking at types. Types of analogies. All right? One, and I'm going to give an example for them. All right. You have singular to plural. Singular to plural. Singular to plural analogy. And this word you can think of the singular. The first word would be singular and the next word would be plural. All right, let's look. Dog is to dogs. Right? As cats. As cat is to cats. So this is singular to plural, singular to plural. So if this is singular to plural, then over here is going to be singular to plural. So, and you can have the other way around. You can have, so that is one type. So you look at the type of analogy you're doing. Singular to plural. So this part here, the first pair, remember it's two pairs. The first pair, dog to dogs, cat to cats. Then you can have two plural to singular. Box is to box. As foxes is to fox. So you look at the first pair. This is a plural to singular. So the over here now is going to be the same. Same is going to be plural to singular. So when you want to find out analogy, look at the first pair and see what they're comparing there. And if you can find the first pair, then you'll be able to find the second pair. So the one type of analogy is singular to plural. Another one is plural to singular. Number 3. Another type of analogy is past to present or present to past. All right. Present tense tends to past tense. Present, walk, walks is to walked. Right? As runs is to run. So that is a present tense to past tense analogy. And then you can have the other way around. I'm not going to go through all of them, but I want you to have an idea, an appreciation for analogies. So you can have the other way around. Past tense to present tense. Past tense to present tense. You can have ate is to eat, as ate is to eat, as go, went is to X is to eat as 4, so it have 2 pairs of colon as went is to go. So it can be present tense to past tense to present tense. So that is 4. Number 5, we are looking at types of analogy. We can look at whole to part. Let me erase this so that you can get a better picture of what we're talking about. So we've gone, how many already gone? 4. So we are 5 now. Whole to part. Right? You can have the whole object. Like you can have a house. Is to rooms as trees. As trees, sorry, tree is to branches. So you're looking at house, room, so the bigger part, the whole, then the small part, then tree, the same. So if you have whole to part over here, you have to have whole to part over there as well. Then you can have part to whole. So this is number 6, part to whole. And that leaf is to tree as wheels. So wheel is the bicycle. So if over here is part is whole, the small part come, and then the big part, the small part, and then the big part, the whole, sorry. The small part and the whole thing, the whole tree, and you have the small leaves, and you have the bicycle, you have the small parts come and the whole, right? So if this, yes, so you have to look at the analogy that you're doing. If it is part to whole, if this part is part to whole, then over here is going to be part to whole as well. Number 7. You can look at characteristics. Or quality. And this one is, like for example, if you have ice is to cold as, ice is to cold as fire is to hot. So you watch this one. You look the pattern over here. And then you use this pattern to answer to help you with that one over there. Because they're going to leave out one. Alright? Alright, so let's just look at a few more types of analogy. Alright? You can have action to object. Number 8. Action to object. Action to object. Flying. Flying is to bird. Is to bird or birds. Then you have as swimming is to, you tell me. Flying is to birds as swimming is to fish. So you look at them, the action, then the object. So the same thing gonna happen over here. The action, then the object. So you have to look. And then you can have number 9, where you have the object to action. So now you're gonna have the object and you're gonna have the action. So nose is to smell, double colon, as eyes is to see. So you watch this pattern, is the object, and then the action, then the same thing gonna happen over there. You're gonna have the object and the action. So those are 9 types so far. 9 types of analogies. 9 types of analogies so far. Let's see if we can look at a few more. There's a whole lot of them. Many different types of analogies. But when you know what you're looking for, it will be easier. Okay, you have purpose and function. I think it's function. Function analogy. For example, you have key. What's the purpose? What's the function of key? You can use it to lock the door, or you can use it to unlock. Unlock the door. So key, unlock, and as knife. What you use the purpose of knife? Knife is to cut. So this is a purpose or function analogy. Then you have sequence analogy. That was what? 9, that was what? 10. This one was what again? This was 10 or 10. 11. Even if I miss them, it's okay. Sequence or order. Or order analogy. For example, second is to first. You notice they put the second, then first. So you see the pattern, the second and then the first. So you have to do the same thing as over here. What would you have now? If I say Tuesday. Tuesday would be to what? Because second, then first. So second, the second, so what will come? Okay, second, then first. Over here you have Tuesday. So you have to have the one before Tuesday, and that would be Monday. Then you have tool and worker. And you can have worker and tool. Tool and worker, or tool to worker. And this one is, the tool comes first, hammer is the carpenter, as hammer is the carpenter, as a stethoscope is to, so the instrument is a hammer. Who uses a hammer? The carpenter. But they put the tool first and then the worker after. Over here, who uses a stethoscope? Right? They put the tool and then they put the worker, and that would be doctor. So you have to look at the pattern. And you can have the other way around too. A hammer is used by a carpenter, just as a stethoscope is used by a doctor. right? Location and places. Location and place. Location, place. You have whale. Where do you find the whale? Whale is the ocean. As you have to find another as what? Deer, or so you could have deer is to woods or forest. Forest. Alright? I think those are basically. You have some others. Let me see if I can. Alright? Okay. 14. You have category. Class. So all of what we have been looking at is types of analogies. If you know the type, whether it's a singular plural, whether it's a whole to part, or whether it is a past tense to present tense, whether it's a synonym, if you know what type of analogy you're doing, then it would make it easier for you to find the answer. Category, class, and that is moth, M-O-T, is to insect. As, double colon, as snake is to what? What's a snake? This is a reptile. So you have category, class. Moth is an insect just like our snake. So moth is a type of insect, just as snake is a type of reptile. So we are looking at different types of analogies. And if you can identify the type of analogy you're working with, it would make it easier for you to come up with the answer. All right? So that's basically what types of analogies. You have a few others, but we can work with those. Now, you can make up your own analogies. You can make up your own. If I say, write a singular to plural analogy. Write a singular to plural analogy. You're comparing singular, tooth, as singular, mouse is to mice. So you can make up your own analogies. Make them up for yourself. You can make up singular to plural analogies. You can make up whole to part analogies. You can make up characteristic analogies. You can make up synonym analogy. Big, synonym. S-Y-N-O-N-Y-M. Synonym, analogy, analogies. Example, big, or I could say pretty, is to beautiful. as fat could be to robust. So see there, you can create a synonym or synonym analogies, more than one. Right. So, and you can create homonym analogies. You can antonyms analogies. So practice some of those for yourself. And if you're able to identify the type of analogies you're doing, it will make it easier to come up with the answers. All right. All right. We are going to go over now for you to do. You are going to find the answer. So I'm going to give you complete the following analogies. All right. Dog is to bark as cat is to. Do that one, two. Bird is to nest. Bird is to nest. As fish is to. Number three. Finger is to hand. As toe is to car is to road. As boat is to. Number five. Chef is to knife. As chef is a knife. As dentist is to, what does the dentist use? All right. Flowers is to garden. As flowers is a garden. As tree is to. Okay. Shoe is to foot. As glove is to. All right, can we do those now? You should have dog, action, animal to action, Dog is to bark as cat is to meow. Bird, find a bird in a nest. Where do you find the fish? In a tank? Or maybe if you want to write water, sea or river. Finger is a hand, as toe is to foot. Car is to road, as boat is to water. Chef uses a knife, dentist uses a drill. Flowers, find flowers in a garden. Where do you find tree or trees? In a forest or wood. Shoe is a foot, as glove is a hand. If you get all of those correct, good job. All right. Let's go to another section. All right. Now, this one now. This one I'm going to give you and you're going to write the answers. You're going to tell me the type of analogy. Types of analogies. All right. Number one. Number one, child is to children as mouse is to mice. Number one, you're going to tell me, remember you can have singular to plural, plural to singular. So just listen. You can have past tense to present tense, and so forth. All right? All right. First one, child to children as mouse to mice. Tell me what kind of analogy is that one? All right. Number two, went is to go as sang is to sing. Write them down. Next one, teacher is to marker as chef is to knife. Number four, oven kitchen, as desk is a classroom. Next. Right. Right. Right is to wrote. Right is to wrote, as run is to run. Six. Lion is to animals, as rose is to flowers. Number 7, hammer is to hit, as scissors is to cut. And the last one is driver is to car, as captain is to ship. All right? So you're looking at the types of analogies. The first one says is singular and plural. The first one, singular and plural. Child is to children, as mouse is to mice. Number 2, past tense. Went is to go, as sung is to sing. Number 3, worker to action, the worker to what they do. Teacher to marker, teacher action to object. Teacher uses a marker, chef uses a knife. The next one, number 4, oven is the kitchen, right? And this is location, where you can find the oven, in the kitchen and the desk. Then the next one is right, is to wrote, and that is present tense to past tense, as run is to run. Then number 6 now, lion is to animal, as rose, and that is classification, you're grouping them. Then number 7 now, hammer is to hit, so object to action, as scissors is to cut. And then the next one, driver, which is the person, and the captain, and this one is the person who is doing the action, and the object. So it's person to object, person to object. The driver drives the car, the captain steers the ship. So you have driver to car, captain to ship. All right? So you have the door and you have the action. Now let's quickly go it again, and that's it for ability test. This afternoon, parents, students, wherever you are from, ability test is an intelligent test that tests your ability, how smart you can think, how well you can use your thinking skill to come up with the right answer. Now, analogies, these are thinking skills that are used in exams. And you have to be smart to come up with the answers quickly. And this evening we say, or this afternoon we say that when you know the different types of analogies, it will help you to come up with the answers. We say that you can use it in worded form. Bag is to bags. You can use the is, or you can use the single colon, mean is to, and the double colon mean as. So we looked at different types of analogies, and we looked at some singular to plural, and we have plural to singular. We have whole to part. You have action to door. You have synonyms. You have antonyms. You have homophones. All of these are different analogies, different types of analogies. But if you can figure out the first pair, because it's two pairs you're working with, if you can figure out the first pair, then you'll be able to get the second pair. And so we looked at, we were able to come up with the answer by looking at the first pair. And then this last activity, with the type of analogies that you were able to identify the type of analogies. Thank you so much for tuning in. Students, remember, student, teachers, parents, remember to like and to subscribe. And we go straight now into the mathematics. All right? And we're still on this lesson, describing sequence and patterns. All right. Patterns and sequence. We looked at 4 concepts. What is a pattern? Look at pattern. Sequence. Term. And rule. A pattern is a repeated arrangement of numbers, shape, or object that follows a rule. A sequence is a list, an orderly list of numbers, objects arranged in a specific order according to rule or a rule. What is a term? A term is a single number or object in a sequence. For example, in the sequence 2, 4, 6, 8, each number is a term. What is a rule? A rule is the instruction or pattern that tells you how to get from one term to the next in a sequence. And we have looked at all of them. Now I'm going to quickly test you, and I'm going to give you a few activities and see how well you do them. All right. All right. I'm coming. So I'm just going to give you. All right. Activity 1. Write them on the board. Activity 1. So this afternoon, this is the last of the sequence we're actually doing. All right, find the 5th term. And this is the sequence. Sequence 5 10, 15, 20. Tell me the fifth term, 1, 2, 3. And the next one, give me the rule. All right. Next one, this one. This is 1. This is 2 now. You have sequence 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36. All right. And you're going to give me the rule. And you're going to give me the ninth term. All right. All right. I have some worded problems that I really want you to do those in the meantime. All right. Number 3, I want you to predict. Use the pattern to predict the next 3 terms. All right. Predict the next 3 terms. A, 7, 14, 21. B, you have 100, 90, 80. Next one. C, 3, 6, 9, 12, 24. All right. Okay, sorry. There's something wrong about this one. 3, 6, 3, 6, 12, 24. All right. And then I'm going to set a few worded problems on the board. Okay, let's go. Find the 5th term. You have 1, 2, 3, 4. So the rule, they're adding 5 to the previous term. each time. So the next one would be 25. You have that's okay. Sequence, you have 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36. The rule, these are squared numbers. Squared numbers. So what would be the ninth term? You have 1 multiplied by 1 is 1. Then you have 2 multiplied by 2 is 4. 3 multiplied by 3, 9. 4 multiplied by 4, 16. 5 multiplied by 5, 25. 6 multiplied by 6, 36. 7 multiplied by 7, 49. 8 multiplied by 8, 64. 9 multiplied by 9, 81. 10 multiplied by 10, 100. Let's see how far we reach. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So the ninth term would be 81. So you're squaring the numbers. So the 81. Predict the next 3 terms. This is 7. So you multiply 7 by 2, by 7, and 7, you add 7 again, you get 14, you add 7, 21, 28, 28 and 7, 35, and the next one will be 42. Look at this one, B, you're decreasing. So you have 100, you subtract 10, 90, subtract 10, 80, subtract 10, 70, subtract 10, 60, subtract 10, 50. This one now, 3, how did they get 6 here? 2, and multiply by 2 here, 2, 6 is 12, multiply by 2 here is 24, multiply by 2 here is 48, multiply by 2, that will be what, 96, and multiply by 2, 2 6 is 18, 2 9s 18, and 1 19. So, sorry, that's wrong. 96 by 2, 2 6 is 12, here 1, 2 9s 18, and 1 19, 192. Alright? So I hope you have completed your activities, and we're going to go now to the written ones. We are going to the written ones now. Let me see how many we can do. All right. And we're still on describing patterns and sequence and finding the correct answers. And patterns and sequences everywhere in life. If you go to the supermarket, you know. All right, so this one, you're going to answer the questions. All right, this one, first one. Paula receives $1.50 at the end of the week. At the end of the first week. At the end of the first week. Right? $2 and $2 at the end of the second week. Second week. $2.50 at the end of the third week. At the end of the third week. And $3 at the end of the fourth week. Fourth week. At the end of the fourth week. Hold on. At the end of the fourth week. All right? Fourth week. If the rate continues, what will she earn at the end of the sixth week? If the rate continues, what will she earn? What will she earn at the end of the sixth week? All right? And that's a question. Next one, number 2. So Paula received $1.50 at the end of the first week, $2 at the end of the second week, $2.50 at the end of the third week, and $3 at the end of the fourth week. If the rate continues, what will she earn at the end of the sixth week? All right. Let me write it properly so that you can see it. Let me write it properly. All right, so that you can see it. All right, number 2 now. It says concerts were on July 2nd. Concerts were on July 2nd, July 9th, and July 16th. And July 16th. If the pattern continues, on what date and what date will the 5th concert be held? Number 3, question. Brenda plants, Brenda plants 5 seedlings in the first row. The first row. In the first row. 8 in the second. 8 in the second. And 11 in the third. If the pattern If the pattern continues, how many, if the pattern continue, how many seedlings will be in the fifth row? How many seedlings will be in the fifth row? Question. Number 4. A shop, number 4, a shop sells 2 bottles on the first day. 2 bottles on the first day. Two bottles on the first day. 4 bottles on 4 bottles on the 4 bottles on the second. And then the other one, 6 on the third. 6 on the third. How many bottles will be sold on the 6th day? How many bottles would be, how many bottles will be sold on the 6th day? 6th or 5th? On the 6th day. All right? Let me give you a little time to work on those 4. While I work them myself. Let me give you a little time to work them, and I'm going to work them myself right here. I'm giving you a little time to work them. All right. We can use it. We can use. Let me Paula receive. We can use the we can use a table, or you can just look at it. The first one, Paula receive. So we can have our table. Okay. All right, so you can have the numbers here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then for Paula, we say Paula received $1.50 on the first week. So this is a week. I can put a week here, weeks. First week, $1.50. Week 2, $2. Week 3, $2.50. Week 3, $2. Week 4, $3. And it says week 5, if the rate continue, what will she earn in the 6th week? So week 5, you notice they're adding on $50. So this would be week 5 would be $3.50. Week 6 would be $4. You have that? It's correct. All right. Next one. Concert dates. Concert, and you can use the table again, which is easier so that you can see it. Concert dates. So these are the terms, and these are the dates. So that you can see them clearly. So you can use the table when you want to find pattern. Concert date. The first concert was on July 2nd. The next concert now is on July 9th. The third concert is on July 16th. July 16th. Right? If the pattern continue, on what date will be the 5th concert? So they have the 2nd here, the 9th, so they had 7 days to that. 9, and then the 16th, they had 7 to that, again get 16. So if you had 16 to 7, that would be what? 23rd. So 23rd of July. July 23rd. July 23rd would be the 4th one. So the 5th concert based on this would be adding another 7th of July, the 30th. Would be the next concert. Still using the table, because as I said, it's easier to see what you're doing when you work with a table, when you want to find pattern. It's easier to work with the table. You can see it easier than if you just write them down. Alright? So what they're looking for this one now? Carrot seedlings. So you put seedling here. seedlings. Right. Then terms. Brenda planted 5 seedlings in the first row. 5 seedlings. In the second row, she planted 8. 8 seedlings. In the third row, hold on a minute. In the third row, let me find it right here. All right. In the first row, 5. In the second row, 8. In the third row, 11. Seedlings. Right? And the next one, if the pattern continue, how many seedlings will she plant in the 5th row? So she have 5 here. She add 3 more, she gets 8. She adds 3 more, she gets 11. Add 3 more, 11 and 3 is what? 14. And then plus another 3, this would be 17. So she would have 17. Right? So it said, if the pattern continue, how many seedlings will be in the 5th row? 17 seedlings. Still using that table, still using this table, because it's easier to see them for me. It's easier to see when you use the table. All right, the next one says, water bottles. A shop sells 2 water bottles on the first day. 2. So this is the terms, and this is water bottle. Or bottles. 2 on the first day, 4 on the second day, 6 on the third day. How many bottles will be sold on the 6th day? So look for the pattern again. Look for the pattern. So 2, and she add 2 more, get 4. Add 2 more, you get 6. Add 2 more will be 8. Add 2 more will be 10. Add 2 more will be 12. So you watch a pattern, and then so you keep adding. So which day do you want? Water bottle sold, and that is the 5th day. The 5th day would be, the 6th day would be 12. 12 water bottles. Right? So, boys and girls, parents, wherever you are from, we are looking at sequencing patterns. And this helps us to know when we want to catch a train. If one comes at 5 o'clock, another is half an hour. These are real life mathematics. When you know pattern, you can know which time the next train will come or the next bus will come. And so it helps you to be organized. When you're able to organize yourself, patterns and sequence help you to be organized and can work with time. Now, as I said, I'm trying to see if we can actually do a test on the platform, on the live. We can do a quiz. I'm working on that so that you could get a math quiz and an ability quiz. In the meantime, students, go over what we have done. These are not willy-nilly, being done willy-nilly, but they will be applicable to your PEP exam and any other exam that you are doing. Remember to subscribe to the channel. It's all about you, students, and like the channel. Remember, for creative writing, which is my favorite, mathematics and creative writing, I enjoyed these two subjects. Remember, if you want to be a good creative writer, you want to be a writer, this book is on Amazon. It is a Write workbook, Building Creativity and Imagination. It starts from words, sentences, paragraphs, descriptive writing, and all types of writing. This will lay the foundation for you to become a good writer. Thank you again for joining Writers Plus Academy. I invite your friends, subscribe and like. Thank you. Have a good night.